It's the dark skin Savage my neighbor.
Top 10 scary Simpson predictions
we don't want to come true.
Look, man.
Nah, Simpson is the only show
They predicted all
that
kinds of
is
shit.
like.
different,
I think they were the first niggas to do some shit like this. I swear to God, they were.
But I think they predicted COVID. They predicted
Kobe.
Kobe.
Yeah, I think the Kobe shit, bro.
Trump.
That is crazy.
Yeah, Trump winning.
And that's all in like early 2000s, nigga.
Yeah, bro.
Like the whole freaking King Jong, bro. I'm about to say that nigga trying to blow up the state.
Oh, like the World War
Yeah, that
III
shit was there
prediction.
too.
Nah, these niggas is different. These niggas is totally different.
Yeah. Hey, but let's get into it, bro.
Welcome back to Most Amazing. I'm Connor, or since I'll be in costume for all of Halloween, you can call me the Doctor. Everyone knows The Simpsons. It's the longest running animated series in history, and it has and will continue to have massive impact on our pop culture, even going so far as to predict it. We've seen the show make all sorts of crazy predictions that came true. Apple products, presidents, disasters, you name it, The Simpsons
they
did
predicted
it, but there
Apple?
are plenty of things they said would happen that never did, and even more that have yet to happen. So here are 10 scary Simpsons predictions that we don't want to come true. Allons-y. Number 10, interactive holograms. The season 11 episode Bart to the
I already
Future
know
has been
that
one
shit
of
is
the
gonna
most
happen. Come on.
mentioned Simpsons
Y'all don't think we're gonna have
episodes when it
interactive
comes to
holograms?
predictions. It
They already have
happens that it
holograms.
takes place in 2030, which at the time I'm recording this is still 8 years away. If YouTube is still around then and you're watching to see if any of these came true, let me know in the comments. I promise that I'll check. The episode most notably correctly predicted that Donald Trump would become president, but there were some other things that have yet to happen that could mean trouble for us in the future. In the beginning of the episode, Bart is watching Itchy and Scratchy, the gory version of Tom and Jerry, but instead of on the TV, he is watching a 3D hologram. Well, these are close to becoming a reality with the likes of Tupac and even Homer himself being shown as holograms on stages. A 3D hologram that is interactive is far from our capabilities right now. The scary part of this is when blood gets sprayed all over the walls of the Simpson home from the cartoon. While the idea of an interactive hologram is cool, in practice, I think that it could provide some real nightmare fuel. Before we get to our next entry,
we already got
hit the
fucking
like
I mean,
button if you're enjoying
they
the video.
technically already got the hologram shit.
And then they got Chat GPI, bro.
Yeah, they
already got two of the shits down, bro.
Yeah, I think they did a Juice WRLD joint too.
Yeah.
And hologram shit.
But I feel like, because I've thought about this before, like the shit actually getting real to the point that you can't touch them.
Oh, shit.
I feel like it is not far from impossible, nigga. They already got fucking robots, Chat GPI. They got fucking holograms already. Like,
that's what I'm saying, but they had a hologram of Pop Smoke and shit.
what makes you think they don't got a hologram? Like the military doesn't have like a hologram of like where you can like Tony Stark, nigga, where you can already like basically it's touch screen and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once they master that shit, then it's going to the next one.
Yeah.
Well, that shit gonna start touching
Crazy
you.
that
shit
military
gonna be
always
easy.
have to upgrade before everybody gets it.
Yeah, because we spend most of our money on military shit.
Yeah.
So far. Number 9, virtual takeover. I'm a lover of VR. You know, my headset.
Oh,
That
definitely
shit-
gonna happen.
That's gonna happen.
coming,
So
too.
I love the idea of VR becoming more immersive, and we're making some
See,
huge
bro,
strides.
metaverse,
like
bro, I gotta
haptic
buy more
technology
coins
that allows us
now,
to
bro.
feel
They
things
predicted
happening
this
in the
shit.
virtual world, or full body and face capture technology to allow realistic bodies and movement in games. But one thing that is yet to happen that could be on the way is a mass adoption of VR on the scale of what happens in season 28, episode 2, where Mr. Burns discovers VR and the whole town of Springfield is using it to a point of near societal collapse. While virtual reality allows for some amazing things to happen, and augmented and mixed reality have some more practical, non-gaming applications, it's not out of the realm of possibility for us all to be walking
this
around
shit
with
gonna
some
happen.
sort of crazy device strapped to our heads in the future that allows us to change the world we see. But the implications of losing touch with reality can be massive, and the episode proves it. So let's hope that if VR takes off like I think it can, that we keep our feet on the ground and in touch with the real world around us, and take the goggles off from time to time, or we'll forget to take care of our actual reality. Number 8, hologram trees.
Please,
the
bro.
episode Lisa's Wedding from season 6 takes place in 2010. 15
Hologram.
years
all
from
this shit is
1995
not even,
when the
like,
episode was released.
far-fetched.
And unsurprisingly, many of the predictions of the future have yet to come to pass. pass, like Big Ben being replaced with a digital interface. But one that we should definitely not want to happen is the hologram trees that we see. While the thought of being able to switch from coniferous to deciduous at the drop of a hat is pretty fun, if they're just aesthetic, we could be in a world of trouble. Trees filter CO2 from our air and give us back oxygen, which is pretty nice of them. And unless the holograms have some CO2 scrubbing tech to come with them, replacing real ones with projections will have a dramatic impact on our atmosphere. We can already see the beginnings of this with deforestation, so let's focus on our real arborist friends rather than holographic ones. Number 7.
It's crazy too, cause it's like most of this shit is scary because it's like I like how you put the word scary because it's like it's things that you can actually think that it can happen, bro.
Yes, nigga.
Like niggas got fake clouds already.
Like,
and
but if you was to
rain
bring
and
this shit up like 60, 80 years ago, niggas will look at this shit like, bro, what the fuck are y'all even talking about? Like, this shit is completely impossible. But nigga, now it's getting to the point it's scary for a fucking reason because we actually are capable of doing some shit like this.
Like I really see niggas
proven.
having like fake hologram trees or some shit
bro,
where you
like,
could just
bro,
easily
the
change
fact
the
that
colors
we have
and shit.
chat GPI, bro, like that shit is already in itself. If you was to tell a nigga that even 20 years ago, it'd have been like
You got a robot that will
there
answer
is a
your
nigga that
question
can
right
talk.
now.
I can have a friend in my phone that is going to talk to me like a normal nigga. Like it is a bro. What?
That's crazy.
That's creepy, bro.
Them Robot was the 17th episode of the 23rd season.
Yeah,
and
this
in it,
better
we
not
see
happen,
Mr.
man. I ain't
Burns
gonna lie.
replacing all of his employees with robots except Homer to save costs. But one seems to be developing a personality when it understands Homer's working hard or hardly working joke. Homer eventually messes with the robots so much that they ignore the laws of robotics and attempt to kill Springfield residents. Obviously,
bro.
this would spell disaster in the real world as
Hell
it does
yeah.
in the show, and we're moving towards more and more automation in the workplace.
That's why you
allowing
can't
humans
have
to
too
work
many
less
robots,
dangerous
bro.
jobs, and eventually allowing us to hopefully spend more time living life than working our time away. But we are nowhere near that point.
But I
yet.
wonder how they
The
gonna do the
Simpsons
money, though,
dabbles
bro.
with the idea-
The thing is, though, if that even happens, bro, that's why we gotta make sure we got EMPs for real, bro. Like, like EMP nukes, bro. Like, all right, y'all wanna act crazy? No.
Throw an
Like,
EMP at a nigga.
I feel like as long as the robots are not designed to have like installed weapon, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
Like
can
if
learn
they're
that shit.
designed
Well,
to
nigga, they don't
just-
even need that shit. They gonna use whatever the fuck they want around them.
If you have a gun in your house too, and like you have it in a safe, and them niggas go to your safe and they can just
They can see your thumbprint on
see
each
your
button.
thumb.
Yeah.
Start scanning this. This is a deadly weapon. About one bullet can kill a nigga. Okay, I'm
Depending
tired.
on where you hit on his vital organs.
Vital organs.
Aim for the head.
Scary, bro.
Nigga, that's scary as fuck.
That is the scariest shit
idea
ever.
a few times, like in the episode Itchy and Scratchy Land, where the animatronics gain sentience and attack park-goers, a la Five Nights at Freddy's. AI gaining sentience has been the device of science fiction horror stories for such a long time, but it's becoming closer and closer to a real-life issue. Heck, there's even a robot named Sophia with AI so advanced that she was granted citizenship in Saudi Arabia.
What?
I don't want to deal with real-life Cybermen when the Cyberium takes over, so maybe we should slow down on the whole giving robots consciousness thing. Number 6,
Yeah,
French fiasco.
wait.
I don't even know how the fuck you can do that, but don't do it,
the
bro.
entirety of modern history. But in Treehouse of Horror 8, all of that is thrown out the window. When Mayor Quimby makes an apparently offensive frog's legs joke and refuses to apologize, telling them to do their worst. Even Marge joins in on the jabs by saying, you know how unpredictable the French are. One minute they're kissing a woman's hand, the next they're chopping off her head. Well, the French president didn't take too kindly to this and starts a war by launching a neutron that levels the town, leaving Homer as the last person alive in all of Springfield. And we all know that leaving Homer alone is a terrible idea. Now, it should be painfully obvious why France launching missiles aimed at the US would be something we don't want to happen, but that's not the only scary prediction from this episode. Number 5, teleportation. In Fly vs. Fly, the
Okay,
second
now,
story in this
teleportation
episode,
is
Homer
kind
buys
of
a
like
teleportation pod from Professor Frink for 50
I feel like that is
cents.
actually a
damn
really
good
hard
deal,
thing
if
to
you ask
do.
me, but maybe too good to be true, as the rest
Damn
of the
near
episode
impossible.
shows some of the terrors that could come with this tech. Instantly arriving somewhere else on the Earth after simply
I
stepping
feel like if you
Yeah.
teleport, that shit's gonna
We
do
would have
something
to
to you, bro.
manipulate
And the
all
practical
types of shit.
application- No, and there have been some crazy advancements, like the Chinese scientists who teleported particles to a satellite in space. But in the
What?
episode, we get a warning of the dangers that could lie ahead, with reference to the classic science fiction horror, The Fly. We see the loyal Simpson pets, Santa's Little Helper, and Snowball 2 becoming merged together
The fuck?
Cronenberg style. And Bart gets the idea to turn into a superhero with the power hour flight by merging with a fly. Clearly, he didn't see what happened to Jeff Goldblum, but life finds a way. And Bart and the fly switch heads when their DNA is merged together, leading to the horror show of what the family has to deal with. I don't know about you, but I don't plan on mixing my DNA with any other creatures.
Yeah.
So until that's sorted out, I'll stick with the TARDIS. Number 4, Colonization of Mars. Season 27.
That's gonna
Oh,
happen.
man.
That is gonna happen.
To be some of the first
Eventually, that's
colonizers
gonna
of the red
happen.
planet,
Shit.
Wait,
albeit
what is it?
16 has TARDIS. Number 4, Colonization of Mars. Season 27, Episode 16 has the Simpsons signing up to be some of the first colonizers of the red planet, albeit
I think
somewhat
Elon Musk is trying to do
and
that shit
eventually
even.
their trip turns out to be a
They're already
scam
predicting
perpetrated by
this.
the scientists, whose rocket fails to start, and when they try to flee the scene, their car can't start either. But at the end
Nah,
of the
but I
episode,
know
we
one
get
thing for sure though. This has always been a talk, even
for a long
before like the Simpsons existed. Like people were already always talking about like, oh, the
Mars.
fact that we're going to the moon. Like, bro, let's colonize all these other planets.
Because Mars was like the best bet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
There was
Like,
even
it's
so
like
there was even
human can
speculation that
breathe.
there was water on there at some point.
yeah.
They said there's water. They said human can breathe.
Yeah, wherever there's water, there's life, bro.
It's like the way I look at it too is like I feel like, man, we not even supposed to be. I feel like we doing too much at that point, bro. Because I like the way I see it too is like, okay, Adam and Eve, right, the first human in Earth, but they're not really the first human. You get what I'm saying? Like they're not the first. It's like this is like a new world type shit, and I felt like Mars and all them shits.
It's crazy
was like
'cause
the
to you-
old world.
Because
type
it's
shit.
crazy. Because to you, it seems crazy and far fetched, but you give it 500 years from now, this shit is going to be like Mars is going to be like another house you're going to in the neighborhood. It's gonna be like our version of neighborhood is going to be like I wouldn't even say 500 years, but give it like a few thousand years, like where human technology can actually advance to that point where we can land on Mars and colonize that shit. I feel like it's gonna be like, oh, y'all want to take a stroll to Mars? Like, let's go to Mars type shit. And they build fucking space highways and shit, space traffic, all that shit, bro. Actually feel like that shit can happen, dog. Like the Jetsons, bro. Y'all know the Jetsons, bro. That cartoon has probably been out longer than the Simpsons. At some point, I think that shit came out before the Simpsons. The Jetsons, remember the Jetsons, bro?
Yeah, I've heard that before. But I don't
to 2051 and see them actually living on Mars. Though Lisa now wants to leave.
I
to
can
Venus,
actually see
which
this
would
shit
be
happening,
an
though.
Yeah.
absolutely
Elon
horrible
Musk is already
idea.
trying to
Though the
colonize
idea
that
of Mars
shit.
colonization is thrown around all the time these days. The thought that we may have to use it as a necessity when we finish destroying this planet is not a future I look forward to. But I mean, I'd probably go. Would you? Number 3, the
I'm not
dome.
gonna
The main
go.
plot device in the Simpsons movie
You
comes
said that
in the
now.
form of a giant dome encapsulating the entire town of Springfield.
I
as
remember this.
pollution has led to
This was the
mutations in
movie.
local wildlife, and not just the three-eyed fish near the nuclear plant. Stephen King actually released his novel turned TV series Under the Dome in 2009, 2 years after the
That would
Simpsons
be
movie
scary
debut.
if that
Another
actually
prediction,
happened.
Perhaps? Well,
Well, you
idea
can
is
see it
incredibly
happening,
silly.
bro.
We have seen in the past few years that quarantine can become a reality for us, albeit
Facts.
without the impenetrable dome, but who knows? Maybe
I
in
mean,
the
that's
future
practically
this will
happened
become a real
already.
thing to
That
stop
practically happened,
environmental
just without the
disasters from
dome.
getting out of hand, like catching a hurricane in a bottle or something. Ridiculous, I know, but let's just hope we never have to use it. Number 2, time travel. People
That would be
assume
terrible,
that
too,
time
'cause
is
there
a
would be
strict
no weather.
progression from cause to effect, but actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. And The Simpsons have dabbled with time travel many times over their 34 seasons, but in Treehouse of Horror 5, we get a glimpse of what is commonly known as the butterfly effect. I know Ashton Kutcher's ears just pricked up when I said that. Time travel could have insane implications on the human race, but there are multiple theories on how it would work. Maybe if you went to the past, you would create an entirely new timeline where things are different. Or maybe nothing is able to be changed at all because time is constant and what has happened has always happened. But in the episode, we see that Homer's small changes in the past with his time-traveling toaster bring massive consequences forward, like Flanders ruling the world, people becoming giants, and even the world having no knowledge of donuts. So, if time travel becomes a reality, and maybe it already has in the future, we need to be careful not to mess with anything, or we risk losing everything. And finally, we reach our
But I
number
don't
one,
think that's
mini
possible,
black hole.
bro.
In Treehouse of Horror 23,
Shit.
the town of Springfield begrudgingly builds a particle reactor.
I feel like it can,
Bruh.
but in its own way. You know how you have dreams of the past? You can visually see that shit, and it would feel real as fuck. What if there was a way where it's like thousands of years from now, they start making a chip that simulates your past, and they turn that simulation into some type of like traveling thing where it's like you can live in that simulation, but it also affects like your reality, kind of like your VR. Imagine, bro.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you can like glitch or bypass certain shit, but I don't think you can actually go back in time because time is always moving forward, bro.
Yeah.
And that shit waits for nobody, bro. So if you can go back, that's crazy, bro. Like, how would that even look like, bro?
I mean, technically, you can do it too in ways like you can make yourself like you could prolong your life doing certain shit. Like if you were old one day and like your skin was wrinkly, you can do shit to make yourself look younger.
Yeah, but that's like, I don't know, man.
I know what you're saying though, like physically just going
Like,
back
yeah,
in time
like
and
going
changing
back where
events
it's
and
like
shit.
everybody actually is doing the same thing during that time period.
Yeah.
Like, how is that gonna be possible, bro? That shit is scary, bro.
And if you change anything, like you
I
come
can
back,
fuck up with the
you
whole.
can fuck up with like the presence. But I doubt that shit would fuck up anything in the present because the presents always keep going.
Yeah, I feel like you just gonna be stuck back there, bro, or something.
Of a baseball stadium and creates a tiny black hole, which swallows up a few residents before Lisa can move it to her basement for safekeeping. After she warns the family to not throw anything into it, lest it grow bigger, they do exactly that, and it becomes massive and swallows everything in its path, taking the townsfolk to an alternate dimension where aliens worship the trash they disposed of in the hole. Black holes are scary enough on their own, let alone what would happen if one was to pop up on Earth, already surrounded by matter it could consume. So hopefully this prediction never happens, or we wouldn't know what hit us until we were spaghettified, which is an actual scientific term describing what would happen if you fell into a black hole. You would be stretched
looking at myself in
infinitely
this
thin as you were pulled across the event horizon, and since time is affected by gravity, it would last an infinite amount of time. Spaghettification, new word of the week. Well, that's all I have for you today. My name's Connor. Stay amazing. And I'll
But
see you
how do
next
they
time.
know that shit?
I'm hip, bro.
How do they just know you're gonna be stretched?
And he never even seen a black hole, nigga. Or have we seen a black hole
We've
yet?
seen them, but we've never like
Been in that bitch.
been in that
Or
shit.
throw
To even
anything
know
in
what
there.
the fuck would happen?
Yeah, they say that shit exists.
Yeah, black holes exist.
Yeah, like in the atmosphere, or I mean, in space.
Yeah.
So,
But the way this dude made it sound like in science, it's like it stretches you out for like a infinite amount of time. So you in that bitch for like
Eternity.
it feels like 10,000 fucking years in that motherfucker. But to everybody else, it's like 1 second. But to you, it's like you probably gonna come out old in that motherfucker.
that's crazy, bro.
That shit don't make no sense, bro. Man, I don't want to be here when all this shit
That
happens.
means that,
I'm
means
sorry.
that shit's gonna speed up your mind in a
And I don't even
very
think,
high
I don't even think there's a
rate, bro.
dead.
Yeah.
Like I think that shit is just like a dead end. It's like you're just falling into like
Yeah.
a pit or some shit, like a tear in space, bro.
Yeah.
Like there is no like other end.
Nigga,
So
that's some game jutsu shit.
I
Bro.
don't know, man.
Yeah, that's like a gay juice. You just stuck in a fucking dark hole, bro.
You go through.
I mean, you wouldn't even live through it anyway, but
Yeah, you probably died.
it's
It's
just nigga. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Hey, bro.
man, that'll be for this video, man.
Yes, sir.
You guys want to see more of this prediction, man? Let us know in the comment section. We get right into it, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, please don't forget to
like, share, subscribe if you're new. God loves you. God bless you. And weezy out here.